It is during our darkest moments that we must focus to see the light. We are what we repeatedly do. The whole is greater than the sum of its parts. The roots of education are bitter, but the fruit is sweet. The aim of art is to represent not the outward appearance of things, but their inward significance. Knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act but a habit. The worst form of inequality is to try to make unequal things equal. It is the mark of an educated mind to be able to entertain a thought without accepting it. The more you know, the more you realize you don't know. Happiness depends upon ourselves. Quality is not an act, it is a habit. Pleasure in the job puts perfection in the work. The educated differ from the uneducated as much as the living differ from the dead. No great mind has ever existed without a touch of madness. The greatest virtues are those which are most useful to other persons. Happiness is the meaning and the purpose of life, the whole aim and end of human existence. The worst solitude is to be destitute of sincere friendship. Friendship is a single soul dwelling in two bodies. It is not enough to win a war, it is more important to organize the peace. The energy of the mind is the essence of life. What is a friend? A single soul dwelling in two bodies. All human actions have one or more of these seven causes: chance, nature, compulsion, habit, reason, passion, and desire. Man is by nature a social animal. The law is reason, free from passion. The secret to humor is surprise. One swallow does not make a summer. The high-minded man must care more for the truth than for what people think. It is not enough to have a good mind, the main thing is to use it well. Dignity does not consist in possessing honors, but in deserving them. A friend to all is a friend to none. To avoid criticism, say nothing, do nothing, be nothing. Those who know, do. Those that understand, teach. The only true wisdom is in knowing you know nothing. Educating the mind without educating the heart is no education at all. The only way to avoid criticism is to do nothing, say nothing, and be nothing. The whole is more than the sum of its parts. The one exclusive sign of thorough knowledge is the power of teaching. Man is by nature a political animal. The educated differ from the uneducated as much as the living from the dead. A great city is not to be confounded with a populous one. The least initial deviation from the truth is multiplied later 1,000-fold. Wishing to be friends is quick work, but friendship is a slow ripening fruit. Excellence is never an accident. It is always the result of high intention, sincere effort, and intelligent execution. We must no more ask whether the soul and body are one than ask whether the wax and the figure impressed on it are one. Democracy is when the indigent, and not the men of property, the rulers. In all things of nature, there is something of the marvelous. Without friends, no one would choose to live, though he had all other goods. No great genius has ever existed without a touch of madness. At his best, man is the noblest of all animals. Separated from law and justice, he is the worst. It is the nature of desire not to be satisfied, and most men live only for the gratification of it. He who has overcome his fears will truly be free. Education is the best provision for old age. Character may almost be called the most effective means of persuasion. The virtue of justice consists in moderation, as regulated by wisdom. The wise man does not expose himself needlessly to danger, since there are few things for which he cares sufficiently, but he is willing, in great crises, to give even his life, knowing that under certain conditions it is not worth living. The only stable state is the one in which all men are equal before the law. He who is to be a good ruler must have first been ruled. Man is a goal-seeking animal. His life only has meaning if he is reaching out and striving for his goals. All who have meditated on the art of governing mankind have been convinced that the fate of empires depends on the education of youth. The ideal man bears the accidents of life with dignity and grace, making the best of circumstances. It is not once nor twice, but times without number that the same ideas make their appearance in the world. Happiness is the settling of the soul into its most appropriate spot. What it lies in our power to do, it lies in our power not to do. The soul never thinks without a picture. Character is that which reveals moral purpose, exposing the class of things a man chooses or avoids. The only way to avoid criticism is to say nothing, do nothing, and be nothing. All virtue is summed up in dealing justly. Hope is the dream of a waking man. Courage is the first of human qualities because it is the quality which guarantees the others. We live in deeds, not years, in thoughts, not breaths, in feelings, not in figures on a dial. Excellence is an art won by training and habituation. We do not act rightly because we have virtue or excellence, but we rather have those because we have acted rightly. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act but a habit. There is no great genius without a mixture of madness. Excellence is an art won by training and habituation.